used to be like instructional videos on how to style. Like, you know, when you work like a specific pattern that has like a specific shape, it should come with a video on like, this is how you put this on.
You basically, for any shawl, could watch Stephen East Knits.
Oh, yeah.
To learn about how to wear a shawl. Because,
funniest thing ever.
First of all, that's not a question.
I have a question. I don't know how to wear this shawl.
Right.
First, that's not a question. I was like dying. Like, that was the funniest.
Second of all, here's your shawl. Put it on. Here's one way to wear it. Here's another way to wear it. Yeah. I loved that.
But like, who was I watching? Oh, I watched a little bit of like a recent episode of Wet Coast Wool's podcast. Okay. And they were saying like, and this is how I feel too, is like I feel like I am a good knitter. I think I'm a solid knitter. I can knit some really nice things and I want to wear those things. But there are some people who like, you know, I look on their Instagram, and Instagram's not like an accurate reflection of life, but it looks like they wear their knits so effortlessly. Like they put it on, like I just imagine that like they reach into their closet and the shawl jumps on them, lands in the perfect position. They need no pins, they don't have to tie it, and they walk out the door and it stays like that forever. And I'm just like, that is not me. Like I put it on and then I fuss with it for 45 minutes and then I think it looks good. And the second I walk away from the mirror, I'm like, it's strangling me, or it suddenly falls off. And like, it takes me forever. It feels like, although this is actually working right now. There are some days where I feel like it takes forever to get it where I want it, and it only stays where I want it for 37 seconds, and then it's like I'm fiddling with it again, you know? And that's, I'm hoping, like, because I got those 2 shawl pins, that maybe if I play around with them, I feel like partially it's practice. So I think some things you just have to practice wearing, and then some things are meant to just be put on and walk out the door, right? Like they don't need a lot of styling, but it's like this shawl, my Divergent series shawl, which is off the blocking mat. It's so cozy. I feel like I look like Ada.
You look like Ada?
Yeah.
Wow.
There's just times when she like puts something on and then she's all shoulders.
Oh, right. Yes, it's true. Lately, it's been a lot of hips. Like, even if it's like on her top, she still will be like, like, that's funny. She's a super interesting kid.
Yeah. But I took this off the blocking mat and I put it on, and like it's so long that I'm like, okay, you can't really wear it as like a cowl by itself. Like it has to be wrapped around or pinned or something, because otherwise like the front point is like to my knees. But yeah, it's like then I go to double wrap it and all of a sudden I'm like, I'm not sure what this is supposed to look like. I saw people and lots of people had it styled very beautifully. I'm not entirely sure I can picture how they achieved that look. Anyways, welcome to On the Land podcast, Christmas vacay edition. Sure. I'm Timu.
I'm NalediS.
We are sisters from Ontario, Canada. I'm in Cambridge.
I'm in Collingwood.
And I don't know. I feel like I watched some podcasts that they talk about like, this is a podcast about, and I'm like, this is a podcast about all sorts of things. Yarn, knitting, kids.
We are pretty good. Like most, we are like, well, we're terrible about jibber jabbering and digressing and like tangenting and like whatever, but it's usually knitting related.
Yeah.
With sprinkles of children's stories.
Yeah. And
even sometimes the children's stories are still related to like the knits, you know? So
I feel like it's a yarning podcast that's meant for like hanging out. We're not in a rush to show you all the things that we're doing or working on or whatever. Those are definitely throughout. But this is like a grab your knitting, grab your coffee or your tea, and hang out with us for a little while. This is like keep you company while you work on your project.
Seriously, because like any podcast that I watch, you're never just like sitting and like watching the whole time. You can like get lost in your project for a bit and you like hear something that like pulls you back in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The short, like certain people like Christy Glass is really great for like short podcasts. Like here's my one project. I'm just going to talk to you about that and done. So that it's like if I know I only have 5 minutes, I'm making coffee, I'm waiting for whatever, something to be done in the microwave, I can put on that 5 minutes and be done with it. But like, if I'm making supper, I'm going to be standing by the stove for an hour. I usually have like my knitting sitting on the drying rack, because sometimes if I walk away from the stove, I forget that I'm making supper. I don't know. Something happens. I get distracted and then I come back and things are in bad shape. So I'll have like clothes open for an hour and a half so I can like make food, watch, knit break while I wait for things to boil. Like, and it's like they're keeping me company that whole time. And it's not like I'm having to keep stopping and searching for something else to watch. So I'm like, I feel like we fit into that category. We're
Right.
like, we're your whip and watch. Work on your project, watch with us.
You know what? And also, okay, so Tamu and I had gone back and forth a little bit about like, okay, what do we want to do with this podcast? Are we going to try and focus a bit more, have more of an agenda, have like a theme for episodes? What are we going to do with this? And I keep reminding myself, and we did like throw back some ideas like back and forth, but we didn't officially say this, but I keep reminding myself, like, because you're such a wordsy person, Tamu. We all know that. If you haven't, like, this is episode 9 or 10, so go back and watch the previous episodes. And she's a wordsy person. She always has been. Basically came out of the womb talking. You did talk earlier than most kids too.
I come by it honestly. If you meet my dad or my grandma, it runs in the family.
I represent more my mom's side of the family. I'll just tell you what you need to know at this moment, and the rest of the details will stay mostly up in here. Anyway, I say knitting, but when I say knitting, I mean anything like crochet, like whatever it is. The project.
But also to share like chats that we would have, because like.
But and then some. Like it's even more than like our normal chats, and like so, and then I'm the person that she like riffs off of.
Yeah, but I just mean in terms of like because you're more. Like you're still in the phase of like learning a lot of new skills for the types of projects you want to knit. Not to say that I don't learn new skills, but like we would have good chats about like you asking a question that I'm like, oh yeah, I don't know, let's talk about that. And we could like, sort of discuss something back and forth, like why you choose this needle over that needle, or this yarn over that yarn, or, how to work, why you might choose this increase or that decrease or whatever. Little conversations that like, if I didn't have you to have those conversations with, and vice versa, like, I don't know where like you can't, it is maybe Googleable. I'm sure there's somebody with a blog out there, or maybe other podcasts that have talked about like those kinds of things, but I don't know. Sometimes I just want to talk it out, and maybe somebody else will learn from that. Anyways.
Yeah. And I also have to say, it's like exciting to be doing this podcast. Like this in itself, like encourages me to like keep taking the knitting to a new level.
Yeah.
I just started knitting again for Tamu to do like her test knits. And then I was like, well, and I've always had this goal of like, not always had this goal, more in my more mature years, as I'm maturing more, I'm like, I'm interested in like making more things that I can wear. So this like keeps me motivated, keeps me going. And it's been fun.
Yeah.
To do this.
Yeah.
And with you. Oh.
Anyways, I was going to say I got lucky today that my oldest son's basically best friend's mom asked if the boys wanted to come over to play today. At first I was like, oh, well, yeah, we could come in the afternoon. If you want, like you could drop them off and then like come, like, take some time to do whatever you need to do at home. And I was like, oh, well, if you're sure. Yeah, right there.
The dry tickle cough.
Yeah.
That's why I've got honey lemon tea, because it usually helps me pretty good.
Yeah.
I might have to go get a Ricola though, because I can feel it's like
yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I was like, oh well, if you're sure that I can drop them off, I'm like, maybe I'll drop them off in the morning. I have a meeting online. Well, it's like easier to explain than to like launch into the whole podcast thing. So I was like, say it's a meeting.
Yeah, I have this like, I'm gonna meet my sister on Zoom and we're gonna talk about knitting.
It's really important. I need you to take my kids.
Yeah.
So kind of on more of a time limit today. So
right.
Help me stay slightly more.
You might get the less wordsy edition of Tamu today. Probably not.
I'll just end up cutting out things I wanted to talk about instead of talking less about things that I do show.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Anyways, what you wearing?
I don't know. It's a cowl. You know, I realized that.
Not much to say about it. So again, NalediS was diving through my FOs. That has existed for years. I don't know. That predates kids, I'm pretty sure.
Really?
Yeah, I think
No, it
I may
cannot.
be like, no, it might have been after Reese, but before Miles for sure.
Isn't this brioche?
It is brioche.
How long have you been brioching for?
I don't know, because they don't do it very often. It's post Reese. It's probably like in the 4-year-ish age range. I'm pretty sure the colorful yarn on top is the base yarn from a fleece artist Thrum mitten kit that I'm pretty sure I bought at the first KW Knitters Guild Knitters Fair that I ever attended. When we moved to this area, I found out that they had this giant knitters fair, and I was like, we need to go. Bought, random things that I wasn't really sure. Like, I kind of went crazy because I don't think I'd ever really bought hand-dyed yarn before, or not knowingly anyways. So I kind of went a little like, oh my God, this giant knitting event, and like bought super random stuff that later I was like, I don't even know what to do with this. Like 100% wool that was lace weight. And I'm like, you can't knit it into certain things because it'll like it's not washable, so it's gonna.
And you didn't have a project in mind. You just
no project in mind. I just really liked the colors, so I was like, yes.
Where is it now? Did you use it?
Well, some I used. Remember, I was talking about like those knee-high socks that I knit that were like cabled all up the leg, and I had them for maybe 2 weeks, and they accidentally got put in the washer. Did I ever tell you about that?
Yeah, you did.
They were lace weight wool. I knit knee-high socks out of lace weight wool because they were purple and variegated, and I was just like, I like purple, so I bought them. And I was like, lace weight socks, like what was I thinking? Like, that was ridiculous, but whatever. It was like one of the first like big cable projects, and I say big only because they were knee-high socks, and I have like a fairly beefy calf, so like it was a lot of cables up the legs. And then I think a couple weeks later they accidentally got thrown in the wash and came back out like this big, and I was like, so angry. And I thought about like cutting off the leg and trying to use it as like a phone sock or like an iPod kind of sock or whatever, but because the cast off, like the bind off was like wider than the ankle, it was like they weren't tight enough at the top. I was like, I'm not even, they floated around. I kept them for a really long time because I just couldn't throw them out, but
they should have become Christmas like tree decorations or something.
They were too big for that. They looked like baby leggings, but I can't even. They were such a ridiculous size. Anyways, and then I still have some of another colorway. Actually, I made a scarf out of the one colorway, but I had bought like 2 skeins of it. And lace weight, the yardage is like crazy. Like there's so much yardage on there. So I still have 1 skein of another one, but it got a little bit moth attacked. So it's like requires a lot of knotting together because I've just had it for so long. Like it's crazy. Anyways. Your cowl. So fleece artist, I don't know what the colorway would have been. Something. And then the white, I think, was just like a Michael's Patton's white wool. Like, so they're both wool. And then it was like a no pattern. Like I just wanted to try brioche in 2 colors. And so I was like, I'm just going to make a scarf. And then it got to a certain length and I was like, I wonder if I could just join it and make it a cowl. And then I did.
I love this thing.
I kind of like it. I find sometimes it feels a little too snug around my neck. It's like it needs like half an inch more for me. But if you like it, keep it.
Yeah.
The odd time I throw it on just because I see it and I'm like, oh yeah, I haven't worn that in a while. I just
change my view so I can look at myself again. It's just like I would never. Well, I'm not myself.
So I can look at myself.
I would never have bought this yarn like this.
Yeah.
Like technicolored multicolored ball of yarn. Like I actually, we've talked about this before too. Like I look at a ball of yarn and I'm like, this doesn't inspire me to want to knit anything, but then I always see your projects and I'm like, oh, it's amazing. So anyways, it's one of those things where I liked it because even in your basket, I was like, I don't really like it that much, but I thought I'll just take it and we can talk about it because it is brioche too and it's kind of cool. But yeah, wearing it, like you put it on and you never know like exactly what's going to be folding where and what's peeking. It's so beautiful.
But it's like if you want it more white, you could arrange it. Like I sometimes twisted it, put it on and kind of tucked the side in so that just the outside kind of stood up. So it was like more sturdy looking, like cowl with all white or all color. And yeah, at the time that I bought it, like I wouldn't have probably bought that skein on its own, but it was like a thrum mitten kit that was like super on sale. And I tried to make them. I think I made one mitten. I bought 2 thrum mitten kits. There was one that was all purple. So it was like a variegated kind of purple with purple thrums. And then that one, and I can't remember what color the thrums were supposed to be. But I started trying to make it and I was like, I do not understand this at all. Like it was so, like I was like, I get how to make a mitten. It was adding the thrums that I was like, this is the weirdest process. They're not staying. Like it was, I was so annoyed. So I was just like nuts to this. And like, I think the half mitten that got done stayed in the bag with the rest of the yarn. And then the other kit never got opened. So I was like going through my stash one day ages ago, found it. And I was like, if I separate out the thrum stuff and just use the yarn, that works. And it did.
And it did.
Yeah. And then I'm wearing my Divergent series by Sweater Freak Knits. That's done. And I'm in love with it. Oh, it's like, see, styling issues. I don't know how to wear this thing.
So yeah, can you take it off?
Yeah. I kind of don't want to though, because I kind of
I know.
Okay, so long hair doesn't help either. Okay, so this is what it looks like.
Yeah, which is gorgeous.
So this is where I started,
yeah,
and this is where I ended at the point down here. So it's like you start with the, well, maybe I won't give away the plot points, go by the pattern. But I did, so it's again, Mona Lisa and Epiphany by Tanis Fiber Arts, and I did like 2 row stripes. It's like some of the darker spots pretty obvious to see. The darker is the Epiphany, the lighter is the Mona Lisa. So I kept up that stripe pattern. The actual pattern calls for you to, if you want, do this and then add in different colors to some of the stripes. When I looked at how variegated this was, again, I just was like, where would I have added other colors? What color would I have added? Because there's so much like purple and teal. Oops, that's making it too dark. There's just so many colors going on in there already that I was like, anything I would have added, I think would have taken away from the overall piece. The only thing that I did do is when I got to the end, I widened the stripes.
Okay. Oh yeah, you can see that. Yeah.
So I did like, and it started as an accident. So you can see this one's wider and this one's wider, but not the Epiphany in the middle. So it's like, I think I just picked up the wrong yarn when I did that. And I didn't notice until I got to the second part of the Epiphany on that one. And then I was like, dang it, why is that stripe so wide? But it was like, I'm so close to the end.
Yeah.
I don't even care if it's only 1 or 2 rows. I'm not flipping going back. So I was like, nuts to this. I'm just going to double up. So I doubled up those ones. And then when I got to the last point, I did it all in just to add like a little something.
Cool.
Yeah. I feel like it looks kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
Wider stripe.
You know, I don't think I would. Well, I probably would have noticed it in person. Definitely didn't notice it.
It's not like super noticeable, but I feel like it just like, because I feel like depending on how you wear it, like that center kind of becomes like the focal point if you wear it down the front. Right. Anyway, so a lot of people like wearing it, I feel like either have a line, like the longest line going down their shoulder and then have the other part kind of wrapped around. So I keep trying to like put it on and figure out how to wear it. It is so incredibly soft. So the 2 bases were the pure wash fingering and
like that actually like reads on the camera. It's crazy.
Just like the drape and the lightness and the softness. So it's the pure wash fingering and the purple label. And normally I'm a little bit, I don't know if this is just a me thing, because I look at other people's projects and I don't think there's anything wrong with them when I look at them, but I just have like a bit of weirdness sometimes about mixing bases and mixing brands. And I have no idea why. It's like, I just want things to match. Like I want, you know, if I use 2 fingering weights and they're different brands, sometimes one's a little heavier, one's a little lighter because the bases are different, right? So sometimes I have weirdness about that. But these 2 together, it's like perfect, because I feel like if it was all cashmere, it might feel a little bit precious, or it might feel a little bit too like fuzzy, that I might feel like, because sometimes things that are very fuzzy, I'll feel like fuzzes are coming off and they're like up my nose and they're in my mouth and they're stuck to my lip gloss. So like I like that. I feel like the pure wash cuts what I might not like about the cashmere, and the cashmere adds softness that the pure wash is soft, but it's just not as soft as cashmere. Anyways, so
Yeah, cool.
you have a family event to go to. You can do it lots of different ways. You can put the front point down the front to make it look more like a triangle cowl kind of idea. Just feel like it takes a little bit of like playing with and arranging, but I'm happy to do that. It's just so light. And I was wearing it yesterday and then realized I started cooking dinner, which I was making pasta sauce, which was super dumb. I didn't even like think about it. I just with it on, and then it was like partway through that I was like, what am I doing? Like, this is terrible. Only
slowly.
Yeah, because we have a family event on the 28th, and I was like trying to save it for that. After that, I was probably wearing around more, but like I want it to be nice for that. But I realized I'm standing by the stove. I was wearing a long sleeve like t-shirty, just like big drapey sweater kind of thing, a tank top, and this, and I was like warm, but not like too hot. Because sometimes, you wear your knits while you're cooking, and I feel like I'm sweating because I'm like, it's just...
No, I don't have that problem.
Well, I often have that problem, right? Sweating over the stove because I'm wearing too many layers. But this was like, it's like warm, but not hot. Anyways, I'm quite happy with it.
Actually, next winter should be interesting. You probably will take my cooking wares to the next level, because right now, like, I just wear like a hoodie and then like a zippy sweater, like usually a fleece zippy sweater over top of it. Like, that's how I walk around for most of my day. It's like a lot of layers. But
cold?
We keep our house cold.
Yeah.
Our house is cold anyway.
Yeah.
Even in the summertime, our house is just always cold.
Yeah.
Not cold, but cooler than other people's homes. Yeah. And I'm a cold person.
I'm a cold person, but
even in the summertime, like in the evening, I sit and watch TV with like a blanket on in the summer. Partly it's like for
I can wear like my hand knit socks or have a long sleeve shirt on in the summer, but a hoodie and a zippy fleecy sweater, that's like
with something underneath.
My armpits would be sweating. Like,
no, I'm always comfy.
It's like my body wouldn't necessarily feel hot, but I'd be sweating, and I don't like that.
So basically what I'm trying to say is I have the perfect body for knits.
Yeah.
And maybe next year when I'm cooking, I'll be like wearing shawl or something instead of the hoodie sweater, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'm cooking with my cashmere shawl on, everybody. And I'm I'm
not usually cooking with cashmere. Sometimes I try to wear like things that I wouldn't be so upset if something got on it, or that it could be like washed out easily and wouldn't stain. Like this, I'd be worried about like the pasta sauce on this would like stain it. And if it's anything like greasy, I'll try to remember to take stuff off. And like in general, I'll just like, try to think about changing my shirt or whatever if I'm wearing like a nicer something. But yeah, okay, what you working on?
What am I whipping? No, that's not true. I've got 2 whips. Okay, I'll show this one first. This is the sock edition. Like everything I have to show is sock related. Okay, so
move that closer to the camera.
Yeah, I was like, oh, this would have been better if I started with my FO. So this is, and I didn't bring the tag up. I'm so disorganized. We woke up at 9:00 this morning. So I was hurrying. This is the Jawool.
Lang Jawool. I think it's just like their sock yarn or 4-ply or whatever.
Right. This I showed last week with the little spool of.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't know if there's an actual color on the label. Anyhow, this is the color. Yeah. This is what it looks like. I started knitting it up because it's really interesting.
Can you turn it around? Turn it. Yeah. Cool.
It's unexpected, hey? Like how the colors look, where the black is going and stuff like that. I didn't expect like the black. So, okay, start the story. I started knitting on this because I made socks for my boys. I used this yarn for the heels, for the toe and cuff for my 4-year-old. And it was just like, you can tell, like it's sock weight yarn, but it's different than working with the charcoal gray, I don't even know what wool
It's like patterns, I think.
Yeah. It's just like, it was like coming up really loose
Oh.
and
No, is that gray that I gave you?
no.
Okay.
I don't know. Whatever the first socks I ever knit or was trying to knit and never finished them.
Yeah, they were, I think they were a Lan superwash wool or
It's
something.
just that wool is like, I don't know. I don't really know what I'm talking about yet, but I can describe like what was happening. That wool is like, it's just tighter. There's not a lot of movement to it. It's thicker. It's warmer. This it's like, it seems like it's going to be the same-ish, but when I'm knitting it, even on the same size needles, it's just coming out like so loose and stretchy on its own without me like changing my actual tension. And then I was intrigued by like how it was striping up, because it's like every once in a while the black changes where it is in the order.
Yeah.
So like you can see here, it's not really that important of a detail, but like here the lavendery color is beside the light blue. Here the light blue is bordered by black on both sides. So I was like intrigued to see how that would knit up. I'm knitting these on 2.5s.
Yeah.
Which usually you've seen me on 2.5s. Usually that's very tight.
Yeah.
This is so loose. So I used the usual stitch count that I would for Jason's socks on a 2.75, and still he was like, I don't like how loose that is.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I almost need to go to a 2.25 to work up this yarn. I don't know what it is about it. But and I was like, oh shoot, I forgot to use the spool of thread with it. So I might try and do that for the toes and heels as well. I'm like, maybe there's a reason. Yeah, maybe this is why they put this interesting little spool, because it's just like the yarn is so interesting.
Yeah. No, I don't know. The only thing I can think of like why it would be knitting so differently is, well, for one, I think the base of the yarn is different. So that other,
it said 75 char wool.
Yeah.
About the tag up with 25%.
So it's a higher line. There's more plastic in it than other sock yarns I think that you have used.
Oh, really?
A lot of I think a lot of the ones, I was going to say a lot of sock yarns. I don't know what the average actually is of nylon content or plastic content, but I think a lot of the ones that you have used are 80-20.
Okay.
Instead of 75-25.
I'm going to look at that now.
And I don't know, obviously more plastic theoretically is more durability. It shouldn't wear out as fast as the wool. Sorry, I got to spit my color. But yeah, I don't know that I would have guessed that it would change the gauge that much, but I don't know if I have. I don't think I've knowingly knit socks with any yarn that is 75-25.
Okay.
It could be I don't know. I'd have to go through and look.
I thought that the opal was too. I'll have to look though. I'm gonna look at my labels. I have them all. They're downstairs. I wasn't thinking about that this morning.
Yeah, and then there's always there's different factors too, the twist, the how many plies. There's so many factors that change the way a yarn knits. So it's,
right.
It's interesting to me when people are all right, I know my sock numbers. It's these size needles, this many stitches. And to me, it's every time I change brands, every time I essentially change bases, I have to make little tweaks. Because I'm
right.
socks will not all socks will knit up exactly the same for me.
Right.
If you could line up 10 different brands of yarn and I could knit you 10 socks out of those, and they would all have slight fluctuations.
Right.
And sometimes because I like my socks dead on, that slight fluctuation makes a big difference to how I feel about that sock. So I'm I don't know.
I'm figuring that out now. I thought it was all going to be really uniform, but I'm learning that now as I go.
Yeah.
Do you want me to talk about my one more whip, or do you want to have a turn?
Doesn't matter. If you're doing socks, I can do my sock.
Yeah, go for it. The Christmas socks.
So this is one of my Christmas Eve cast-ons in the wee hours of the morning. So it's cascade.
You cast on after midnight?
How I do.
What size needles are you using?
2.5.
Okay.
I think. 2.5.
Okay.
Millimeters. High sharps. because those are the ones I like for socks in general. Although the cord is very swirly right now, and I'm not sure what I did. Yeah, it's the Cascade Heritage Prints Holidays colorway. And I really like how vintage Christmas it looks.
It's cute.
Rather than like really traditional. Like I had, seen a lot of Christmassy colorways and looked at them and been like, just not sure I want like red, green, white socks. Whereas I like this, that already kind of has that mutedness to it. It is like, I'm noticing while I'm knitting it that, the toe, which has like been cast on for a while, is like very fuzzy looking. So I'm hoping when I give them a wash, that'll calm down a bit, but makes me concerned for how quickly these might wear through, but
okay.
Whatever. They're Christmassy socks.
They're Christmas socks.
It's my fault. Like if I did a tighter gauge, if I liked a sock with a much tighter gauge, my socks wouldn't wear through so quick. But generally I have so many hand knit socks and I cycle through them all, even sometimes wear 2 different pairs in one day, that it took me a couple years before I actually wore through a pair of socks.
Say that again. If you liked a sock with a tighter gauge.
So if I say I knit these on a 2 millimeter instead of a 2.5, the gauge, the stitches would be closer together. The fabric would be tighter.
I get that. I mean,
think about it, when I'm wearing the sock, there's more stitches to distribute the, like for my foot to stand.
Right.
There's more yarn essentially underneath my foot to wear through while you're walking, if that makes sense.
Right. Yeah, that totally makes sense.
Yeah. So that's like, there's reasons, there's like reasons why you pick one gauge over another. For me, the comfort of my sock is more important than the wear of it, because I enjoy knitting socks. I'm not going to die. I'm not going to be so sad if these socks wear through. They're meant to wear through, so I'll knit more socks. Like, because I had probably the same 4 pairs of socks for years and years and years, and just stopped knitting socks because I was like, well, I don't really need any more pairs, and there's all this other stuff I want to knit instead. And I only started knitting socks again when I finally picked up a pair and realized, oh, I can feel the floor. And then I looked and I was like, oh no, like they're actually one of my favorites. I think I'm gonna have to re-knit that specific pair, but yeah, holiday.
That's good to know, because my buddy the elf socks, I'm kind of sad about them. And it was like the first finished pair I used the 2.75s. I should have put them on, like even on the sock blocker. Like I dried them last night because I showed you they were just like getting sad and kind of droopy. And then I dried them. They're tighter-ish, but they're still a little looser.
Yeah.
And they do just seem like, thin.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh no. So, yeah.
I think if it were me and you're trying to save them, the best thing that I could think to do would be to add an additional sole.
Right.
Obviously, I mean, you have 2-3 options, I guess. Live with them the way they are because they're done. Rip them all the way back out and re-knit them on a smaller needle before you wear through the yarn any more than you might have already. Or I would add add a second sole, whether you do that out of a different sock yarn or a leather or felt or something on the bottom, so that you could wear them like a slipper sock and protect the sock from being worn through. Because that's really where they're going to get the most wear.
Yeah.
Like you might get, I think sometimes with a thinner gauge, or I don't know what the right word is, but like a lighter gauge, you might get more pilling of your fabric as well. I find that like when I have socks that pill a lot, just I throw them in the wash and the dryer, and it takes that all off. They look brand new. But yeah, I would add a sole myself.
Right. Maybe I'll do that then. Sorry, I keep interrupting you today. I think I'm like hyper or something. I was excited that we were going to do the episode today.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
That's all.
Oh, that was
to show that was in my my boku little.
That's cute. That's definitely just like a sitting at home.
Well, it was actually kind of cool. Yeah, last night I meant to post a little video that I took, but I don't know if it had worked. We took the kids to, what's it called? Gift of Light. at Binghamton's. It's like, so Binghamton's is like this big kind of activity sports center thing in Kitchener, and they have a campground behind them. So in the winter when the campground's closed, or like around Christmas time when the campground's closed, they set up like light displays. So you basically are just driving the little road that goes all the way through the campground. It takes like, I think Steve said it was like 12-minute drive at like 5 kilometers per hour. And they have like all these different like light things. Some things move. There's a part where it looks like reindeer are jumping over the path, like because they have like a thing set up all the way across. And then the final thing is like this really crazy tube that you drive your cars through. Anyway, so I just like, I was carrying my big Pip Robbins canvas tote thing, and I just up in one side because I knew I'd just be sitting in the car. Like I wouldn't necessarily walk around with this in my purse, but I did actually go somewhere else last week where I had a bigger project bag. Actually, what did I have in it? Was it the end of this? I might have had the end when I had just the last little bit of this, so my cakes were really small. So I kind of shoved this over to one side, stuck this in the bigger project bag, and then zipped it closed. And I was like, this would actually be would have been handy when I was knitting this, because then I could have one cake in one and one cake in the project bag. Not that it would have prevented them from tangling, but I think it just might have been easier to like untangle and keep one together, because sometimes I'm getting a little commingly. Anyways, all right, you go.
Okay. I thought I'd show this bag again because I haven't shown it for a while, and because my project matches my bag.
Oh, I was like, huh? What do you know?
Yeah. And I've been watching too much of the Grocery Girls. Oh, not the Grocery Girls. Cozy Up with the Stitch and Sister. Oh my gosh, Cozy Up with the Cozy Up with the Stitch and Sisters. So now I'm like, oh, that's got a dingle dop.
And actually, I think that's one of their favorite like dingle dop makers.
Ginger Snap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Funny.
That is funny.
Yeah.
Now I appreciate these little things. See, it's like doing this podcast makes me want to watch other podcasts, and then although right now the only podcast that I'm watching is the Stitch and Sisters, because I started at episode 1 and I'm making my way through, and I think I started it like a week or two ago and I'm on like episode 39 already.
Yeah.
I'm really enjoying it, and the fun like tie-dye-ness going on the inside, it makes me just want to like make project bags. Yeah, we'll see if that actually happens. Anyhow, inside is probably going to be one of the last projects of the 100 Days of Flamingo yarn, right?
No, because I fell off with knitting this and with Christmas knitting and stuff like that. I kind of fell off, so I still have a couple of things that I want to do, but
I cast this on
there won't be much more.
I cast this on last night. Darn, I'm not going to be able to do this. And I was really hoping that I'd make it through all this yarn that's already like come off the sock line. But because I was wanting to show all the colors, maybe I can spread it out next week and show what it looks like. Yeah. Anyhow, you tell about where the sock blank comes from.
Oh, so that sock blank is from, I think her name's Hand Dyed by Kate. I think she's a UK dyer. It's called Lawn Flamingo. So it's like mostly pink, kind of like a variegated pink, a little tie-dye looking with some green here and there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, again, when I was in my buying all the flamingo yarns, I was like, lawn flamingo, that could work. And I wanted to have a sock blank in the mix. So I was like, yeah, that's a good one.
It's cute. I love it.
I'm interested to see how it actually knits up, because I think in the middle there is a lot more white. So I feel like it's going to kind of do like maybe a bit of a gradient. Like it's going to be like dark pink wherever you start that, and then going into the white as you go on. But then when you start the next one, you're going to be potentially starting more in the white section.
Right. I just hope that they both get to have white. That's what I was thinking too.
Yeah.
One leg's going to be white and one leg's going to be pink. But anyway, and so the pattern is an On the Lamb design, a test knit for Tamu. They're going to be leg warmers. So
actually, I have my pile of things that we need to photograph. So this was my original one. This is Vicki Brown, her flamingo colorway, held double with Stranded Dye Works or Amy. The mohair yarn is her legless flamingo colorway. So normally her flamingo legs is very like peachy pinky with black in it. And so the legless is just without the black. So yeah, so maybe here's like a good spot to kind of show. It's blowing it out. I don't know. I can't really see very well. Gotta take some
hair
good
halo.
Yeah, you get this nice halo, but it also like, because the mohair yarn is more peachy and Vicky Brown's colorway was like a paler pink with some like hot pink blips, and then there was a couple little blue blips and some yellow blips, that it like the two just like sort of balanced each other out. Because I was like, the Vicky Brown colorway, I was like, it's a little paler than I was kind of expecting it to be. And then the legless flamingo is like, it kind of has a glow to it. So, which I love. I love that colorway. But the two together, I was like, as a leg warmer, I was like, oh, I love it. It's so nice. Anyways, I'm absolutely in love with these leg warmers.
Yeah, they're really cute.
Trying not to wear them, even though I feel like they'd be so good right now with this weather. Like I could wear leggings and then put this in my boot, because I don't really always wear socks in my boots because my feet get too hot. So I'm like, but then my leg gets cold. So I'm like, I could wear leggings and put these on and then with my boots.
Why are you trying not to wear them? Because they need to be photographed?
Yeah, so yeah. Pictures before they get destroyed.
Yeah. So I just feel like these are so cute how they're, I don't know, it's just like something about this yarn, again, talking about different yarns, seems like it's even thinner. It's like a light fingering weight or something like that. Yes. So it just feels like I feel so cute knitting it up for some reason. And it's on 2.75s, but it just feels so, so sweet. Anyways, so yeah, well, more to show next week. But I was like, I had to cast this on. I want to show something different.
Yeah.
Tomorrow. Yeah.
It's a fun pattern. I definitely feel like I want to knit another pair. Maybe in a DK or something.
Yeah, I think because it's leg warmers, I would rather have something that's like a bit heavier weight.
Yeah.
I don't know why that makes sense to me, but anyway, I think these are going to look really cute. I'm interested to see how tall they're going to be, but I guess I can always make them longer. I don't know why I feel like they're going to be short. We'll see.
Yeah, it's definitely
follow
like,
your
the way that I wrote the pattern is definitely like fairly easily adjustable.
Yeah,
you could absolutely make it any length that you wanted. And I want to
show me on the original. Show me your cuff again and the skirt.
So it's bottom up.
I know. So show me. Yeah, it's hard to tell. Hold it back again. Yeah.
So it's about.
Yeah, and mine's like
my second knuckle there.
Right, and mine's
a little shy of that.
Mine's like just below my first knuckle.
Yeah, but again, it's like the two yarns held together.
Yes.
Makes it a little bit, and the mohair definitely adds like a little bit of puff to it.
Right.
That's
what I would want, is like a little bit of like a light mohair on this, just to give it that puff. Because like it's leg warmers, you kind of want them to be like around your leg. I don't know.
I think I still have some of the legless flamingo. If you want to stop, you could do those two together.
Okay, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on.
My next whip is my other Christmas Eve cast on. Actually, I'm going to take this off for a second so I can show you. So this is Spin Cycle Yarns dyed in the wool line in the Pussy Willow colorway that I had ordered from somebody's like a Ravelry de-stash kind of thing. And I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do with it. And then a couple people actually on my Instagram were knitting something with fisherman rib or a half fisherman rib. And I just saw it and I was like, yeah, that's the stitch pattern I need. Because it kind of it reads a bit like a brioche, and it's so stretchy and so squishy, and just the way that the fabric like layers together. It's so lemony.
I love that. Oh my gosh.
Ugh, I love it too. It's quite, the yellow in some sections is quite bright, but then it's also kind of deep, and I don't know. I love that it has like that hand spun kind of appeal, like just the way that they do, you know, kind of two strands, each one dyed slightly differently, because you can tell that one strand is like, it has a lot of yellow, but then it transitions into grays. And then the other strand is like browns. Like, so it's like a light brown here, and then it gets darker, but then it goes back light and then it turns gray. And wow, the other one's going yellow. Like, so it really just, to me, reads like a hand spun. And it's, yeah, I just think it's so pretty. It's quite soft. I was worried it was going to be a little sheepy because it is 100% wool, but it is quite soft. So what I'm trying to do is like a double, it'll kind of look like a bandana cowl a bit. So I started at this point with the intention of it being able to be folded over. And so I started flat here, then I joined in the round to make it a little cowly, so you can kind of see around the back.
Yeah.
And then I resplit. So now I'm going back flat to have this come down. I'm hoping it'll land a little lower, but we'll see.
I almost feel like this is what I should do for Jason's cowl that he
a
wants.
little bit of yarn chicken because I have this left of this, but I actually like cut this off when I joined in this ball because it was like whatever color it was going back into. I was like, oh, I don't want that color right now. So I joined the second ball. So I have a little bit left too of the other ball. So I'm hoping that I'll have enough to get down here, but
I'm going to take a picture of you right now. Hold on.
We shall see.
Yeah, extra nostrils. That's the way to go. I'm going to show Jason. I feel like, I don't know, he's getting tired of me like asking him. He like already has decided what he wants for his cowl, but then I keep offering him more options. But I like that like folded over turtleneck.
Yeah. Well, because what I'm hoping is like this is like adding a lot of warmth, but it's not tight to my neck.
Exactly.
There's so much space in here.
Right.
As evidenced by this weird
yes.
right now. I have lots of space, but I can feel how warm it is because it's like the fabric itself is squishy plus the 2 layers. And then what I'm kind of thinking is like, as this comes down, hopefully it'll sit, as I said, a little bit lower. So what I want is to be able to like, I could close that layer into my jacket and have this stick out a little bit.
Exactly.
I have like knits where I'm like, you know, like, because I do like, you know, sort of bandana cowls that you can tuck in, but then I feel like I tuck it in and all you see is this. And I'm like, I worked so hard on this project and all you can see is like this teeny little triangle sticking out. So I'm like, I want a little bit to be able to come out. And then I'm hoping that, again, if this is like a bit of a bigger triangle, that you could flip it the other way and have the short side in your jacket and a little bit of a longer peak coming down the front. We'll see. I feel like with this one, because I have like a limited amount of yarn, they classed it as a sport weight. And I think each ball had approximately 210 yards or something like that. So I don't know if it's going to last, like go down quite as far as I hope it will. But I definitely am going to cast on another one as soon as this one's done, just to, one, make sure my notes make some semblance of sense, and so that if this one doesn't get to the size I want, that I can try and work it out too. Because it's like, this one, the bottom point could come like to here, then when you flip it the other way, it would just look like a regular bandana cowl that has this like secret extra layer.
Sorry, I missed that at the beginning because you said something with the fisherman, whatever.
Yeah.
But the design is yours?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
I just, like, I wasn't even necessarily intending for it to be a design. I just started knitting. Like, I was just like, I knew what I sort of had the idea in my, like a picture in my brain of what I wanted it to look like. So I just started going. And then after I started going for a bit, I was like, I should probably start writing this down. And even just like, even if it never really gets published to anywhere, it's like just partially writing it down for myself. Like,
yeah,
you know, if there's something I want to do again, but
yeah, and
I'm happy with how it's going right now. And I feel like it's a pretty, like, it look, you know, to me, it's like an effective pattern. It looks good, but it would be not that difficult for anyone else to pull off. And again, I just love that it has that brioche kind of look to it without the painstakingness of brioche.
I think I'm going to try that. Send me your notes.
Yeah, well, they're incomplete right now because I'm only to here, but and now, and for the decrease, I'm doing like a center double decrease to try and get that spine down the middle. I was going to do decreases on the outside, but I decided to do this instead.
Cool.
And my paper airplane dingled up from Riv Creative that I just love. I had it on the project for no other reason than just because I wanted to look at it, and now I actually need it. So
cool.
Yeah. Any other whips?
Nope.
Okay. I have.
Well, yes, but not that I'm not up here. Don't need to show it.
I picked this up the other day. Again, oops, I need hook going everywhere. I lose that stitch. I re-picked this up last night just because I was feeling like I wanted to crochet something, and I'm like, I really want to see how this pattern goes because I had an idea in my head. I just don't know if it's going to be able to be finished or if it's going to work out the way I wanted to.
What is it? Talk more
I
about
don't know.
Oh,
I'm hoping it'll be wide enough to be sort of shawl-like, like this, and like sweep around. But I'm using this stroll gradient, same as the hologram. I said the
right.
wrong.
I was like, that looks really
Hologram,
familiar because there's just no orange in it. It's light gray instead of orange.
Yeah, I can't.
That to me makes so much more sense. That ball right there.
Yeah, I can't remember what the colorway is called now. It's gone from my brain. Yeah, it's just funny because it's like when I look at it like this, I'm like the proportions are right for it to be shawl-like. It's just like I keep like working on it and feeling like I've done so much work and it still looks pretty small that I'm like, will it get big enough to be a shawl? But I'm like, I have so much yarn left. I'm sure it'll be big enough to be shawl-like. And then there's like holes down the middle because of the ease of wear. Sometimes what I do.
Yes.
With a crochet shawl is I just take like one end and I kind of pull it through a hole, or I make a hole in my fabric, which is like, so I'm sure there's somebody out there who would cringe at the way that I wear some of my knits or my knit. Oh my gosh. There's one that I like, if you laid it out flat, you'd be like, you totally destroyed that. But when I have it on, you can't see that there's a hole there because that's where it's like, that's the only thing holding it on my body is that hole. Yeah. Anyways. So.
Stupid question. It's gonna be so stupid. I feel like I already know the answer, but can you, with blocking a crocheted project, does it work the same as knitting? Like, will you see the same growth usually?
In my experience, it depends on a lot of factors similar to knitting. The yarn. So a good example, my keyed up shawl that I knit with applied cotton from Monsoon Calamity. It saw a ton of growth because the cotton relaxed a lot when it got wet, and like it just gets huge. And partially that's gauge, right? If I had crocheted it really tight with a really small hook, I mean, it just wouldn't be able to go that far because the stitches would be so tight. Probably my guess with this, just because stretching it's not getting that much bigger, that it wouldn't be like this is not going to double in size or anything crazy like that. But it would grow a little bit.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, this is the kind of one that like what will grow is the middle spine is not as stretchy as the outside edge. So you'd need to be careful when you block it.
That wouldn't misshape it.
Accidentally end up like this overstretched while this stays, because this like chains up the middle.
Okay.
More stable than like the actual stitches. So you just like with any blocking, you have to just handle it with care.
Right.
One of my biggest blocking faux pas for a long time is getting it wet, trying to squish out as much water, and then kind of like holding it up and letting it like fall, like holding it in my hands, kind of like a pizza dough, and letting it like, it's like, it's the worst thing you could do because you have no control over how it's stretching. Gravity just takes over and it will just stretch it every which way. And so I was like, okay, right, I have to keep it small, get it to the ground, and then spread it out where I want it to be. Because I would sometimes block things really terribly and then not be able, like, it can't really go back after that. Like you could let it dry and then reblock it. But and then I have this one in my Halloween bag from One Knit Too that I just think is so hilarious.
Are those R2D2s?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
In a whole bunch of different little Halloween costumes. I think it's so funny.
Very festive for this time of year.
I like Halloween any time of year.
Yeah, I know.
R2D2 in costume is just hilarious. I can't, I'm not gonna stop using it. And I was using this hook that I bought from, can't remember. Happily Hooked magazine has like a separate company, I think, that sells crochet hooks.
Oh, it is wood.
It is, yeah, the handle is wood, and then the like hook is hook. So when you order, you can pick different like handle lengths, slightly different shapes, and then you can actually like pick your hook brand, because like, you know, there's slight variations between like different brands of hooks. So yeah, I like it.
Yeah, it's cute. At first I thought it was like plastic or something, or rubbery.
No.
But then all of a sudden I saw the texture, like the texture in the, or the grain. I don't know. Yeah.
And the last thing I don't have anything else whips wise. Oh, I was gonna show you this though.
Cute. Where did you get all these little wood things from? I hate how I'm like always so proud of my Christmas decorations and stuff I do, and then you always take it to your cute level.
This is like, to me, this is not as impressive as the knit baubles. That's a lot more effort. These, the wood cutout part came from Katrinkle's Knitting Jewelry. Oops, that's her Instagram handle. She has her own website now. She used to be on Etsy, and she makes lots of different things. So the first time I found her is because she has like similar idea, but buttons. So you can like stitch a heart on your button or an anchor or whatever you want. Like tons of different designs. She has so many, I can't even tell you all of them.
To make buttons like for your sweater?
So like so I had some of them. I used one, like some on like hats and stuff like that. So it was like an anchor that you like stitch the anchor in, and then you sew the hat onto, or you sew the button onto your project, whatever it is. And then so I think this year was the first year that she had the ornaments, or maybe last year. Anyways, or yeah, I think last year might have been the first year she had them, and then this year she came up with some new designs, something like that. Anyways, she had one that was a sheep, I think, and I was like, ooh, tempted, but got these ones. Anyway, so the yarn that I used on this one, so you can, embroidery floss is the easiest because it's a little bit thinner. So like for getting your needle in and out when you have like multiple stitches going through one hole, embroidery floss is easier. But these ones, I used the leftover, or sorry, the tail yarn from this.
Oh, cute.
So, you know, in the bottom of my box, my yarn winder box, I always save the tails when I yarn, oh my God, I can't talk. When I wind yarn and I take the tails off the skein, I throw them in the box where my yarn winder goes. I don't know why. I didn't have a specific purpose in mind for them. They're just all there. There are like at least a year's worth of tails in there. There's a lot of tails in there. But then I was like, oh, I have an idea. So it's like, you could use these to like commemorate some of your favorite projects for the year. So that one's Epiphany, and then there's Mona Lisa.
Will that go on your tree?
Yeah.
Is your tree still out?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Cool. It'll be out till like end of January.
Oh, it's okay. Mine's still out too, which is funny because I usually take it down on Boxing Day. It was like, no, we're going to keep it for a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just haven't put it on the tree because I was going to show you.
Yeah, yeah. Cool.
And then we're going to talk about our Make 9. Quick, fast.
Oh, I got FOs too, but
okay.
Just really fast. I'm not going to even really talk about them, but that's what I was saying about Morgan.
Oh, okay. I thought you were using the Regia yarn, or you did on one of the pairs.
I did for Clark's. This is the, how do you say that? Lang Jowl.
Yeah.
Bows and heels with the gray.
Really cute with the gray. I really like that.
Yeah, it is cute with the gray.
Did you do it on the heel too?
No. These are Flegel heels.
Oh.
I was just doing them really fast. I was like in a crunch. Decided all of a sudden, like a couple days before Christmas, yeah, I should actually make the socks for the boys and knit intensely. Literally, I didn't make it. Morgan's, these are for Morgan. They were not done on time. They were ended up being finished on Christmas Day or yesterday. I don't know, whatever it was. Anyways, then he put them on. Like I bond them off. I was like, Morgan, look, I made you socks. He was so excited, so appreciative. He loved them. He put them on, and I went to get my camera out to take a picture, and he started flipping out because they're too scratchy. They are kind of scratchy. Clark's were done on time, and he wore them for a little bit on Christmas Day, and he didn't mind them. But Morgan is very sensitive. So I'm like, okay, you will not have more wool socks. I need to find something else for him. maybe the Pima cotton or something. We talked about that time when I talked about that before.
Yeah.
Anyways, these are Clarkies. So now Clark's got 2 pairs of socks for Christmas. I just wanted them for going out in the snow because these are so much warmer than like little thin, cheap cotton socks that I have for them. And I used from the Regia socks. Anyone that's done like the self-striping balls of yarn would know that you get so much yellow waste yarn
just from the Perfect, not all of their hair.
Oh yeah, the Perfect balls, yeah. Which I now have 3 balls of that yarn, and it's like a pretty good wad that comes off of like 3 different spots on the ball, and you're like, you can't really do a lot with it, but it's like, I don't want to waste that. Anyway, so you can do children's toes and heels, and cuffs, and I still have some left over, so I can use some more for them. And then I'm like pretty sold on the Fleegle now. So those 2 were Fleegle heels. And these have Fleegle heels.
My socks.
Wolf blocker.
Said my socks.
Socks. And I was afraid that they weren't long enough, but now that I have them on the blocker, I'm like, okay, they're longer for sure. So you'll have to try them on and see. Anyway. Socks. Yeah, lots of socks. And what was the next thing you were gonna talk about? I have 2.
Make 9.
Oh, the make 9. Okay, before we do the make the 9, this is also really fast. Christmas presents. I went to a store called Lens Mill with my daughter Ada. She's 6.5. We went there before Christmas looking for stuff. It's upside down. And she was like, Mommy, I really want to get you something. And I was like, oh, did you bring your allowance money? She's like, no. Anyway, so on her behalf, I bought myself this ball of yarn that she picked out for me. She was like, I need to buy you a gigantic ball of yarn. So it will end up being a project basket. Like I kind of imagine double strand yarn and making one of those like cool crocheted, really stiff project baskets. But it's like got a flat bottom.
Yeah.
And it's a cylinder with handles basically.
Yeah. I was thinking about that more. I was thinking 2 things that you could do, because some double stranding it, like you have to use a pretty small hook to actually make it very stiff if you want it to stand up. Okay. But what you could do is either get like a not very wide, like a thinnish rope and crochet over the rope.
Oh, okay.
Or there was a pillow pattern or like a big poof pattern that I started to make, and I was like, yeah, I don't have the commitment level to actually finish that because it was really big. But it was like a really good like scrap buster, stash buster. If you have like just random yarn that you're like, I'm never going to use this for anything else. You held a bunch of strands together instead of the rope and held a bunch of strands together to crochet over the other strands.
Oh, okay.
And it's funny because yesterday or the day before, I don't know, I was searching my basement for something and found a bag of more Christmas yarn colors, like green, red, and white. I don't know if it was supposed to be for those stockings or why I have all these extra, but I think it might have been for the stockings because those came in like bags of like 3 or 4 balls because it was so much cheaper.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it's like you could hold like, a few strands in the middle and then crochet over them because that'll add height and it'll add some stiffness to it.
Right.
So it stands up.
Right. Yeah, maybe.
Because
I have a lot of that yarn left as well because I decided I'm not doing the stockings. Go back in a couple episodes and you'll understand what I'm talking about. Anyways, my last thing. I've only just opened it this morning so I can show it, but I'm like, got my gleaner.
Yeah.
Haven't used it yet, but I'm very excited.
Yeah.
I have a gleaner. I gotta knit lots of sweaters to make this purchase worthwhile. Let you know how it goes.
I really want to try because you can use it on so many things. Like I have one that I got ordered from Tanis and I haven't used it yet either, but I'm like, you can glean like anything that pills. Yeah. So I'm like, I have like a lot of athletic pants that have like some pilling on them. Though.
Right.
Like, that's what I really want to attack first.
Between the thighs area. Yeah.
Are you gonna show yours too?
Yeah.
Can you show them one at a time?
I adapted mine a little bit this morning. Show them at the same time, and then we can talk about them. I have no. Yours is blowing out a little bit. I have no idea if mine is.
Yours is okay. I think. Oops. I accidentally pressed the button. I think it'll be hard for me to not get mine.
Yeah, your Banal Breeze.
My Banal Breeze is just the picture's so light, anyways. That there it goes.
But anyways, our first one's the same anyhow.
I like how yours is so gray and mine is like such a weird combination of colors.
What do you mean?
Like all the project pictures. It's not you. It's not you. It's like the project pictures that people have are all like, they're pretty well all neutrals.
Right.
And you changed your middle one?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
I'll explain that in a minute.
Right. But then it's like I look at mine and it's like I actually took more time to arrange the pictures on my collage than it did to find the pictures, because I had gone through my Ravelry a few days ago and tagged things in my favorites with Make 9, so it would come one list, just so it's like easy to find them all. But then when I was arranging my collage, I intentionally I put them all in there, and then I was like, how am I going to make this look right? So I was like, partially I want them in the order I want to knit them, because I'm weird and I have to I want to be able to check things off.
I didn't do that. I wanted mine to show well, because when I tried that, it was like the way that the Freebird cocoon is just her arm.
Yeah,
it was kind of funny, coming out of. I think I had it coming out of the abalone picture. It looked kind of strange. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, I kind of want them in the order I'm going to knit them in, but then I also color composition wise, I was like, there needs to be some sort of order to this. So it's I'm going to knit them down. So Banal, it's our next sister cowl we're going to cast on together on January 1st. And then I'm going down this way and then across and then up. But I think I'm going to cast on the middle. So this is Banal Breeze. This is, I think they're called Modern Mucklucks so this is obviously Stephen West, unless you don't recognize him. This is Modern Mucklucks by Andrea Mowry. This is Gull Foss by Stephen West. Also, this is, Dusk on the Moor by Soline Knits. It's a shawl, in case that's not obvious, because it kind of looks a little bit like a big...
Yeah, I wasn't sure either.
It's a shawl. This is the Messaline sweater by Bristol Ivy, if you don't recognize her there, which the Mucklucks and that sweater, I have kits from Craftsy. This is obviously Tanis Fiber Art, so I'm not knitting the hat. I want to knit the mittens, and I can't remember what that pattern was called.
Are you going to have a baby bump when you take a picture?
No, probably not.
It's so cute.
Ricochet?
What?
Ricochet?
Ricochet.
Okay. Yeah, so Ricochet mitts, they're double layer, so it's color work on the outside and then a solid layer on the inside. That's, I can't remember what it's called, something Henley, and I can't remember her name. We'll put all stuff in the down bar, and I'll tag everybody on my Instagram. That is, oh gosh, my brain.
I came prepared with notes, baby.
Come on. Well, that's Boho Chic, and I can't think, Reflection Wrap or Reflection Shawl, I think. And then the middle is Cosmic Dandy by Julie Knits in Paris. Is her Instagram handle. I can't remember if that's her name on Ravelry, but yeah. So I was when I was arranging them, was notice the sweaters are on the corners, and then the shawls are opposite, or down the middle, and then the accessories, and all these ones are all happen to be blues. So I this one I had originally gotten the yellow picture because I thought it looked better. Oh, that was weird. The light switched. Yeah, originally. Oh, that's fine. I had saved the yellow picture of the Mucklucks, and then I was oh, this is not working for my color story. I have to get the green one so I can have this little composition going on here.
This is what I mean when I said at the beginning that Tamara just thinks about where colors go and where her eye is going to be drawn and blah blah blah. I was I just didn't want busy backgrounds to be side by side and stuff like that. That's basically all I thought about when I did.
Well, even when I was putting the sweaters in, though, I was I had them in a certain order at first. Stephen West was in the top left corner, but then that made him looking away from everybody.
Right.
I'm no, you got to look at everybody, not look out, not be I'm too cool for you. You have to look at them.
Oh, and mine, he's too cool for school.
Anyways, so I realized as I was making my Make 9 too that there were several patterns that didn't make the make 9 list that I still really want to make. So I'm like, okay, what do I do? Like, because I know I'll have like, I always have more than one pattern, more than one project on the go. So I'm like, Cosmic Dandy, I think it's so big that I'm going to cast it on and kind of have it running in the background while I work through the other stuff. But I was like, if I can get done all my make 9 in the first 6 months, then I'll make another make 9. So it'll be make 18 for 2018.
Right. Yeah, cool.
That's how you do it. Well, we'll see. Sometimes I
Got
have
all the yarn that she could actually do that without buying any new stuff. We also won't talk about what happened yesterday. Yesterday was Boxing Day.
Yes.
It's glazed right over the funniness that happened.
Glazed right over that we both fell deeply into a Tanis Fiber Arts Etsy update hole. And I may or may not the previous day have stumbled into the Hugh Loco Christmas update of all her one pot wonders. One of a kinds and limited runs are my weakness. Because I'm like, what? These colors never come back. I better get them because they might disappear. Bad. But
okay,
don't tell my husband.
Yeah, don't tell her husband. I know. I will tell Jason. I wasn't ready to yet. It's like our Christmas week has been so perfect. I don't want to ruin it by telling him what happened when he went to work for a couple hours.
You went to work and I spent your paycheck before you got it. Sorry.
Thankfully, I didn't spend as much because you pretty much spent his paycheck from that one day. I did not. Here's my make 9. I'm prepared with oh, now it's blowing on a bit. Whatever. I'll have it on my Instagram too, so the picture's not showing up that well, but.
And I'll try to input the pictures and kind of cover up this
hopefully.
portion with the actual picture. It just depends if it'll work.
Maybe I should keep mine in the same spot then. It's terrible. Anyhow. Okay, so same as obviously Time Ward told the story, the Banal Breeze. Stop that. Banal Breeze by Stephen West.
If you cover up your face with your hand, it might focus on your camera more and then it won't look so blown out.
I can't see then. Second one is Electrium by Northbound Knitting. And I can't remember what her actual name is, but her designing account is Northbound Knitting. Excuse me, guys. Sorry. The next one is Silver, again by Northbound Knitting. And I can't see. Okay, so then I got Stephen West on top of Stephen West. This one down here is his Boneyard Shawl. And it's funny because there's so many other ones that I could have shown with more color, but yeah, chose some with all gray. I'm going to say the middle one.
Dramatic make 9 though, so it works.
It's funny though because I'm not like a gray person. I'm a very color person. So when I do my best 9 at the end of 2018, it's going to be all colors. Yeah. I'm going to skip the middle for now and go to this one, which I can't see what it is.
Abalone.
Oh, my Abalone, yeah, by Beata Jezik, the dyer of Hedgehog Fibers. Freebird Cocoon by Annie Lupton of Boho Chic Fibers. Boho Chic Designs.
Fiber Company, I think.
Okay, there you go. This one is, what's it called? My Inner Viking Sweater by Jenny F. of Sweater Freak Knits.
That's what it's called? Inner Viking?
My Inner Viking, which is like partly why I fell in love with it. I just love the name, but I also love the fact that it's like, it's a vest and you can wear it as a cowl.
Yeah.
There's different way you can like flip it upside down. There's lots of different ways to use it. Yeah. I don't love that it's the pattern calls for the cotton, and I actually, Tamu was going to like coincidentally going to knit this like a really long time ago. But stopped for whatever reason. We won't go into all that. So had all the yarn for it already in the same color and everything. And I don't love it, but I'll do it. And then if I love the design and how it wears, but I still don't love it, then I'll just do another one. So
I think for like warm weather, like spring, summer,
yeah,
it'll be like the cotton will make it so light.
Yes, I know that.
That silvery color will make it so neutral that you could wear your summery colors. That I feel like you'll like it once it's done.
Once it's done.
Just won't be so fun to knit and look at.
I know. That's what I'm thinking about. I want to enjoy the knitting process as well as wearing it. But anyway, and then the last one is probably going to be a dream knit. I don't know that I'll actually, what?
Move it closer. It's a little bit hard to see that one. Yeah.
It's probably going to be a dream knit. I don't know that I'm going to actually end up making it this year, mainly just for the not wanting to buy the yarn. When I looked at the pattern, it said like 1,000 yards or something like that. But for one thing, it's color work, and Tem and I are going to do a color work class at the end of January, and just this beautiful like classic sweater that you could have forever and ever and ever. I just wanted to put it on my Make 9 because there's room for dream knits. Then the last but not least, the middle one, I was originally a different picture, but I changed it because I realized, okay, the reason I wanted to do like color work socks like this was because I saw them on Sarah Blackwood, and I'm kind of obsessed with her from Walk Off the Earth, and they're just really, really cute. I love everything about them. I love the color of them. I love the striping on the top of the foot and all that, and there's like chocolate brown heel and toe. I love all of it.
Is that an actual pattern, or did you like screenshot her socks? And
I screenshotted her foot. She was like playing with her youngest son, and I screenshotted her foot and I was like, I want to make these on her stories. Yeah. Anyway, so and I realized like I keep trying to like find other patterns, and I'm like, no, I don't want that. It's because I want those exact socks. So I'm gonna try and make something like that. I don't care.
The first foray into pattern design.
What?
I said might be your first foray into pattern design.
Technically, I already have done some pattern design because both my baubles are kind of my own thing, and the skirt on Ada's half elf stocking.
Well, I just mean like for that, unless you're going to knit your socks 2 at a time, you're going to have to write down kind of what you did.
Right. And I'll probably have to like chart the whatever I want the picture to look like and everything. Yeah.
Knitting not from a pattern is one thing. Actually having to write it down so that you can understand it at a later date, I feel like is more being able to knit it again from what you wrote down is like the challenge.
Right.
Or from whatever.
Right.
There's something else I was thinking about. No, it's gone.
But there will be lots of other knitting.
Oh yeah.
I already know. Yeah, because there's something not on this list that I was like, whatever, I've got the yarn for it.
Yeah.
I also have yarn coming from Tana's Fiber.
There's about 1,000 pounds of yarn coming, so there better be more knitting than that.
And yeah, test knits and lots of socks. So, but I'm excited having this Make 9 list.
Yeah. All right, I should probably jet.
Right.
Yeah, we're going to be back together on New Year's, so we're going to try our best to get online for a little bit and just chat, catch up, whatever. I'm going to go, today I'm going to try and cake all the yarn because I'm seriously, now that the Make 9 exists, I like really want to cast something from it on. And I'm like, no, got to wait till 2018. Got to play by the rules. Got to wait till 2018.
Right.
And if I cake all the yarn, at least I'll be exhausted from that and I won't cast anything on. Plus I want to finish the other stuff that I am working on. So we shall see.
Yeah, be good and wait. You got other stuff to finish up.
Yeah, but hopefully if we can podcast together in the new year or whatever, or on New Year's, then we can at least show our breeze starting. Another sister make along, knit along, whatever.
Yeah.
Who else wants to knit the Banal Breeze? Show us there.
Yeah, I think that we should open up a thread on Ravelry for it. And if anyone wants to join us, that'd be awesome.
Cool.
No pressure though. But have you seen the Banal Breeze? It's really cute.
It is. And I'm like interested to see how it goes because looking at the pictures, it looks like it's knit like one side to the other. And so I'm like, I just can't exactly picture it. And there are so many amazing finished versions of it. Like some people, like lots of them knit solid, all in one color, which is fabulous. But then like specifically Republic of Wool, I can't think of her real name. She knit one that she added like stripes towards the outside and then the middle was more solid. So I'm going to add some stripes on mine just because I know my 2 skeins are not quite enough yardage to make it through the whole project, like based on what the pattern calls for. And just also to like, jazz it up a little. So that's my plan, but yeah, I'm excited to see how it's actually constructed once we get into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Anyways, reluctantly, I will go pick up my children now. That's not nice. I love them. They're just very energetic right now.
Yeah.
They're like all hopped up on Christmas. It's getting to be a bit much. I will talk to you on another time.
See you on another time.
Hopefully see everybody at New Year.
Yes, we will. We have to make it happen for sure. All right. Now on that note, let's go. It's going to get more weird in here.
Sure is. You should see what I'm doing with my mouse. I'm like swirling it around. All right. Yarn on, Wayne.
Yarn on, people. Yarn on, Garth. I didn't know you were going to say Wayne.
Okay.
Yarn on, Garth. Bye. Bye.